Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I apologize ahead of time for my voice if it sounds a bit different or weak. I am recovering from a summer flu. I've been under the weather for the past couple of days, but I got some very big and significant news I want to share with you all. First, let's kick it off with Bitcoin because we are seeing a bit of an uptick. Bitcoin trading over $111,000 once again. Now, is this the start of the recovery? Well, we have to wait and see. I always tell you guys we have to wait for confirmation because the market can easily fake us out. It has faked us out many times. But some good things we are seeing is that Bitcoin is near that oversold zone. The MACD on the daily chart is showing the bears are losing momentum and that the bulls are going to gain control very soon. So I think the flip is coming very soon where we're going to see the start of the next major rally. So just be patient, guys, because things are moving in the right direction. As we've been talking about, the macro bull market thesis has not been invalidated. This thing is still in play. We are still in a bull market. The other factor is that the sentiment has now flipped to fear. So as we've been talking about, the whales are doing their job. If you feel fear, you feel angry, frustrated, then they're doing their job to try to shake you out of the market. But we do not want to operate by our emotions. We want to look at the data. And folks, what we've seen is when that RSI for Bitcoin and even other altcoins is in the oversold zone and the sentiment is in fear. We've seen this story before. It leads to another major rally. So the setup here is very, very good. So let's be patient, guys. And then you have the dollar continuing to weaken. Bitcoin dominance also has been in a downtrend. It's seeing a little bit of an uptick here, but I don't expect that to last. I think that's going to continue to go down. Stablecoin dominance, USDT dominance to be specific, also in a downtrend. And I've been telling you guys, once this thing breaks 4%, it's going to be fireworks, and we head down to, let's say, the 3.70% or so. That's baseline level, support levels we've seen before. Like I said, it's going to be fireworks. So things are setting up beautifully here. I love what analyst Crypto Wizard shared today with the total 2 chart here showing that the cycle isn't different is what he said. Total 2 is trading within a similar structure to its previous bull cycles. After the arc comes the flag, talking about bull flag. After the flag comes alt season. Patience pays. So this is where you really cut your teeth in the market in learning the cycles, learning the charts, learning all the signals and metrics. And you don't have to be an expert. Like I am by no means an expert. I can't go work on Wall Street, but I know enough to navigate the markets to make sure I'm basing my thesis on facts, not feelings or emotions or fairy tales. But what story is the data telling us, right? That we are still in a bull market and that there's still room to go here. So things are in a very good place. All right, we got some very big news, folks. Here, Eleanor Terrett reported, in a rare show of unity, the SEC and CFTC staff just issued a joint statement clarifying that the SEC and CFTC-registered exchanges are not prohibited from facilitating the trading of certain spot crypto asset products. SEC Chair Paul Atkins said market participants should have the freedom to choose where they trade spot crypto assets. CFTC Acting Chair Caroline Pham said, under the prior administration, our agency sent mixed signals about regulation and compliance in digital asset markets. But the message was clear. Innovation was not welcome. That chapter is over. So very big statements from both chairs there. And Eleanor added, the move marks a major step in the agency's Project Crypto and Crypto Sprint initiatives aimed at coordinating oversight while expanding venue choice and optionality for the U.S. market participants. Now, Matthew Siegel of VanEck said the following, the New York Stock Exchange, Nasdaq, CBOE, CME, etc. will soon have spot trading for Bitcoin, ETH, and more. He's spot on. So this opens up the full gambit of the markets and exchanges, so even stock exchanges, to be able to list crypto assets in spot. That is incredible. My OG subscribers, remember we were talking about this in 2018 and 2019, that crypto would become this fully regulated asset class listed on stock exchanges. all the major brokerages and firms like your Charles Schwab and all these guys would eventually come around, and it's happening. It's amazing. So if you've been patient buying the dip and holding, your patience will be rewarded because we are entering new ground here. We're breaking new ground. This is incredible. So the clarity is there from the two major agencies, the SEC and the CFTC. There's nothing holding back these firms. And on the banking sector, the Fed and the OCC have loosened the restrictions. So there, once again, nothing holding these firms back. And folks, this is going to lead to more capital coming into the market, higher prices and valuations for these respective assets. So again, be patient. Your patience will be rewarded. Big things are coming here. This episode is brought to you by VeChain. VeChain is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains in the crypto asset class, and they are getting adoption by many big brands and companies around the world who are building Web3 and decentralized application technologies. I've been a VET token holder for many years. In fact, I started investing in VeChain back in 2018. And some of the key features of the VeChain blockchain includes it's secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. Some of the companies and brands working with VeChain include Givenchy, Walmart China, BMW, Boston Consulting Group, and many more. Most recently, they partnered with Dana White in the UFC, and Dana White even said recently that he purchased over $1 million of the VET token. And VeChain also recently launched staking, where you can stake the VET token and earn great rewards. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vechain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, this news is kind of crazy. I have to let you guys know about it. We got Governor Gavin Newsom, California's governor, saying he's going to launch a meme coin to challenge Trump's meme coin, which is Trump, of course. Now, this is crazy. I tweeted out about it today. Can we ban all elected officials from launching meme coins, including the president? You guys know I've been on record saying that I don't have a problem with President Trump's family, his kids operating crypto, and they want to launch businesses or be part of other crypto businesses. That's fine. But the meme coin, I am not a fan of that. I don't believe any elected official should have that. And unfortunately, it looks like this thing is starting to get out of hand because Newsom wants to launch his own meme coin. These things are not going to end well for people who don't know better and they go buy these meme coins. It's really not going to end well. Meme coins are very volatile and you can easily lose your money. And I don't know who else is going to launch, but can you imagine a whole bunch of politicians doing this? It's a recipe for disaster. So my hope is there's some sort of ban on these things. Again, I'm not saying that you ban meme coins altogether because I believe in the free market, but elected officials who are serving the public should not have this. And I don't care if you love Trump or whatever. This is not about Trump specifically as it is about the principle of it, that whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whoever, you should not have something like this. So watch out. Gavin Newsom coin is coming. I don't know what to make of it. Now, speaking of Trump and his family, World Liberty Financial, they released their tokens and, it had the typical pump and then a big rug pull. I'm not saying the project's a scam, but a lot of people were calling it out, saying a lot of insiders probably benefited significantly from it. Look, I don't know, but this is why I have not invested in it, because one of the things I said was I don't know who the developers are on here. For most projects, you can at least hear from some of the developers and the people working on it, and outside of just marketing, you have people who are talking about the core mission and what they're trying to do. And I decided not to invest in it, and look, that's working out so far. I didn't get pumped and dumped, right? And look, this project could continue to grow, but again, you got to do your research, and I would rather invest in other projects that have been around for a while. And I think many of you know me by now. I don't worship politicians or whatever. I could care less. Do I vote? Of course I vote, but there's a balance to everything, and some people are very much crazy about politics and politicians. They worship politicians. I don't do stuff like that. So some are going to go blindly invest in these tokens, and unfortunately, they may pay the price. And so far, World Liberty Financial had a lot of pullback, guys, but this is par for the course. All right, moving ahead, the crypto IPO market heats up with Figure seeking $500 million and Gemini over $300 million. So we recently heard about Gemini filing with the SEC to try to do an IPO. So we're getting some more details around this. And folks, this is a validation that we are still in the bull market. No one does an IPO in a bear market or if the top is in, right? These guys have room full of analysts who are going through these things. The banks they're working on to do the deals for the IPO, they're not going to say, oh, guys, okay, the market is over. Let's go do an IPO. They're going to do this when there's a lot of liquidity and people are still bullish and able to invest, right? Let's be serious here, right? So this is very interesting and further validation the bull market's here. So both firms updated their IPO filings on Tuesday, revealing how much they hope to raise. Very interesting. Look at this. XStocks launches on Ethereum with 60 tokenized stocks, including NVIDIA and Tesla. So XStocks, they have been doing a lot of tokenization of stocks, and they're a tokenized stock product owned by Backed Finance, and they're launching on Ethereum. They had previously launched on Solana, BNB, Chain, and Tron, and now they're expanding to Ethereum. So, folks, I hope you see what's happening here. The tokenization race is heating up, and a lot of crypto exchanges are trying to participate, and they're trying to tokenize the top stocks. So it's pretty incredible, guys. It's heating up, and this is the future. Everything running on blockchain, the economies, the markets, and the governments, and they're going to tokenize, a lot of the top assets, such as real estate, precious metals, and of course stocks. So this is the future. Now, Solana's Alpenglow upgrade clears governance vote for implementation. So some big updates here for Solana. After a 2-week governance process in which more than half of validators cast votes, Solana is set to be upgraded using the Alpenglow consensus protocol. According to the results of the governance process released on Tuesday, more than 98% voted yes to approve the new consensus protocol for Solana, with a 52% stake participating. The Alpenglow upgrade is expected to reduce the transaction finality to 150 milliseconds from more than 12 seconds, significantly overhauling the system. Here's a quote. At these speeds, Solana could realize Web 2 level responsiveness with L1 finality, unlocking new use cases that require both speed and cryptography certainty, said the Solana Foundation in an August 21st blog post, adding the compounding effect of these initiatives and the many others in the Solana ecosystem is financial infrastructure that operates at internet speed. This is really big for Solana. So I'm a big believer in facts. Years ago, Solana had a lot of downtime. They have not had any downtime, significant ones recently. So this is good, and they're making the proper upgrades. This is what you want to see. And I've often talked about, there's further iteration needed for many of these blockchains. We are really in what one could call the Web 1 of crypto. If, you look at the Web 1 of the internet, dial-up, clunky, and needed further iteration, and we eventually went to broadband, and then we had faster wireless networks. So we're going to get to that level of infrastructure and speed and settlement and so forth eventually, but it's going to take time, right? And this is where, though we as early adopters, we can really benefit because we're getting in early ahead of the mass adoption and the infrastructure being set up to where billions of people could come on board. So this is where we have to do our research, right? And we have to stay up to date with what's happening. That's what I'm trying to do here and help you guys do on this podcast. But this is really great for Solana. I do hold a Sol token. I'm sure many of you do as well. And increasing the speed and the finality is really great. So really, really great stuff here. Now, in a recent podcast, I believe the one on Sunday, I told you guys about Elon Musk's lawyer participating with a company that is going to be launching a Dogecoin Treasury strategy. Well, we got details who or what that company is. CleanCore plunges 60% after unveiling a $175 million Dogecoin Treasury strategy. Doesn't seem the market is happy with this. 60%. Wow, what a mess. So CleanCore Solutions, a Nebraska-based maker of aqueous ozone cleaning systems, saw its shares plunge over 60% Tuesday after announcing plans to become a Dogecoin treasury company. What a mess. So the company disclosed a $175 million private placement backed by over 80 institutional and crypto native investors, including Pantera, GSR, FalconX, and Borderless. Wow. So, folks, one of the things I stated when I read the news and we didn't know who the company was, I said that was very risky. Do you want to have a meme coin as a treasury asset? Even if it's Dogecoin with a huge brand, there's no utility. There's network effects, right? Don't get me wrong. There's network effects with the branding and adoption by merchants. But outside of people having fun with it and just using it to spend it here and there, there's nothing else happening. So that right there, I think, is a flawed strategy to try to use this asset as though it was Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or XRP. So clearly, the market thinks that this is not a good idea. 60% plunge. That's crazy. But hey, maybe they can recover this if the market starts pumping and Doge starts making new all-time highs, which I think it could based on the charts. But at the end of the day, they are taking a very risky bet because, again, this is very different from holding Bitcoin or ETH or something like that. Now, moving ahead, Coinbase equity futures to blend Mag 7 stocks with crypto ETFs. This is interesting. So, Coinbase Derivatives will be launching equity index futures on September 22nd, expanding beyond single asset offerings. The Mag 7 plus crypto equity index futures combine the performance of tech heavyweights and Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. The index will be evenly weighted and rebalanced quarterly, with Market Vector serving as a provider. This is an interesting mix, but I think a sign of things to come where you have this convergence of TradFi in the crypto market. Earlier we were talking about tokenized stocks. So it's going to be fascinating to see how these things can converge and what new products and things are launched around it and how investors navigate it. One thing's for sure, the tokenized markets will open up new investing opportunities globally to people who couldn't access the stock market and certain assets, and allow for these assets to trade 24/7. So this is an interesting move by Coinbase, but a smart one because I think they're getting ahead of the curve. They see the writing on the wall and what's coming. So very, very interesting. And as always, game theory will play out. Their competitors will follow. No one will want to get left behind and launch similar products. So, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Hopefully my voice wasn't too bad for you guys. Again, recovering from the summer flu here. But I hope you see the big news. The SEC CFTC news was the big one, right? I think that's incredible. It allows spot crypto to be traded on stock exchanges and much more. Just amazing, amazing stuff. So hang in there, folks. Bull market's not over. Remember, if you're starting to feel angry or emotional or whatever, the whales are doing their job. They're messing with your head. So let's stick to the data and the facts and the signals and try our best to navigate these markets. Folks, a great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. It's on Substack. Also, check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital, and my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. Knowledge is power. Expand your knowledge about this technology and asset class. Go to mycryptocourse.com. Folks, all the links will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.